Hit some anytime goal scorers as well as safe shots on goal for some of these goalies. Give me both teams to score in the first period. That's coming in at plus 185 compared to the over 1.5 that is at minus 120. Okay, you guys ready? Let's make some freaking money. It's time for Bucket with Joe. Good morning, everyone. Well, good afternoon. Actually, it's time for a Pocket with Joe over here on YouTube, on X as well. If you're watching on X, come on over to YouTube or Instagram Live. Come to YouTube so we can interact over here. Want to have those conversations with you guys. It is Monday, October 20th. We have 5 games on deck today, and I apologize for going a little bit late today. I just want to make sure I had all of the information. You guys know I had a loaded morning getting stuff out there for picks and parlays. So now it's time for Pucket with Joe. I can give you guys all of the attention that you absolutely deserve on this Monday. And I love seeing these comments. I'm so glad you've been around for the last couple of years. Pucket with Joe has been around for 5 seasons. It's time to make some freaking money this season. Let's go big. Make some freaking money here on a Monday. Great to see you guys jumping in. So jump in here in the live chat on YouTube, what you're liking today. I want to hear where you're going with your player point combos, with your same game parlays. We want to hear it all over here on Pocket with Joe. And if you guys are winning big, I want to hear about what you cashed in on as well. And of course, we need to hear those bets that you just lost. And those are the ones that always you'll remember. You'll be sitting there in your 50s drinking your coffee going, remember that day that I had this and it was the one leg, the one player, you always remember that. So let's hear those bad beats as well. So let's jump into the slate today. Like I said, 5 games on deck. When we looked at yesterday's games, I put out a Cup of Joe. Now that's something I'm going to be doing on Sundays. It's going to be a Cup of Joe. It's going to be fast. Getting you those bets. We've got a loaded day with the NFL, and I know so many of you are so focused on the NFL at this point in the season. With the NHL, you know, there's a small slate on a Sunday and not like super meaningful, but not super meaningful games where I feel like we have to do the show. And we're going to do the show a single day. Saturdays are a loaded one, so we need that. But we had an hour and a half show, 35-minute show on Saturday. And I kind of was like, let's just do a Cup of Joe, keep it short. So that is why it was a Cup of Joe. The bets just weren't too great yesterday either. So we're looking for a bounce back. The Ducks and Chicago, that was a tight one. A 2-1 win for the Chicago Blackhawks. Utah won 3-2 over the Boston Bruins. Vancouver got the win over the Washington Capitals, and they start off really hot. The Washington Capitals, you guys know, their first period kind of bet for me, but we didn't get there with the Vancouver Canucks putting up 3-0. And then the Edmonton Oilers in Detroit, those teams didn't come out and score in the first, and it was because of that first period we didn't go over for the total. We did push at the 6 for the over 6 total, but it was a 4-2 win for Detroit. Now we did get their team total over 3.5. So those were yesterday's games, and yesterday is in the past. Let's have that bounce back. Let's make some freaking money. Same thing with Saturday. Like, we made money on a lot of those bets. Today started off so freaking hot, you guys. We were rolling hot. The end games, you know, they weren't as solid as those earlier games. We made the money overall on Saturday, but it doesn't matter what we did Saturday or Sunday. What matters is what we are gonna do today, and that is make some freaking money. So good morning to everyone out there. It's a Monday. It's definitely a good day to do it as well. Dak messed up my last by 6 yards. I hate that. I absolutely hate it, Blake. I hate to hear it. You needed 270 and you got 264 and had that the whole fourth quarter. That was like Travis Kelce. If you guys saw my video on Betting Pros, I had Travis Kelce ulted 38.5 for his passing or receiving prop. He got the 38.5 and he got the 50 plus, but he had 51 on those first couple of plays, right? Because he got that big 44-yarder. So I had the over 38.5. I had the 50 plus, but then I had the 70 plus too. And you know, that was like 4-1. So we always remember those, you know, those legs that didn't hit. It was a ladder, so I was able to cash the first 2, but still, it hurts. It hurts a little bit for sure. I can't give you advice on pantyhose. It's just not something. I don't know if I've ever worn pantyhose. So sorry about asking for your wife. I just can't tell you that. If you want to know anything about sports, that's where you need to be. If you want to know something about pantyhose, maybe it's another show that you definitely should be checking out. You went 3-0 in the NHL. Freaking awesome, Irish King. I love to hear that. You made up for it in the mid-afternoons. Cash running back, same game parlay in the NFL. 365 made. Freaking awesome. So let's go. You got a goal, right? With the Bruins and the Utah game, had them on different parlays, and David, Clayton, Dylan scored. I picked them all up. That is awesome. I appreciate you too. All the best in your search for those pantyhose. I just can't give you any advice. Let's jump into these games. Okay, so we have 5 games on deck today. The first one, the puck will drop at 7 p.m. Eastern. It's the Minnesota Wild taking on the New York Rangers. So let's look over a couple of things here. Firstly, you got to look at goaltending here for the Rangers. The Rangers with Igor Shesterkin. He has been so freaking hot. They're a minus 146 favorite, though. You guys know I hate that kind of juice. Plus 122 here for the Minnesota Wild. We do have a total of 5.5. It's minus 110 to either side of that. Now, the puck line for the Rangers, minus 1.5, plus 172. Puck line for the Wild, unbettable. Plus 1.5 at plus or minus 215. Couple ways I want to go. Gustafsson in between the pipes here for the Minnesota Wild hasn't looked as hot as they expected. Remember, they are needing him to play up to what they paid him. He's 1-3 to start the season. He's almost got a 4-goal against average with a 3.56. Save percentage is below 900. It's 888. Gustafsson needs to do a better job. The forwards here, though, for the Minnesota Wild, unless your name is Kaprizov and Matt Boldy, who is scoring out there for the Minnesota Wild? The rest of the team just has been coming up short of lighting that lamp. So you look at this team, you look at the Gustafsson problem, the fact that their offense, unless it's Kaprizov and Matt Boldy, no one else is really scoring. And then you look here at them for their power play opportunities. If they can get on the power play, this power play is converting at 38.5% of the time. The Rangers, if they get in the box, we're going to see the power play conversion. So if you really want to take anyone from the Minnesota Wild today, if you think they're going to go on the power play, you look at those top power play players. That would be Kaprizov and Boldy because that's who is scoring for you. So that's all I like for player props would be the power play opportunities for Kaprizov and Boldy. Then I don't want anything to do with the Wild unless I'm fading their team total. I don't think they're going to be able to score on Igor Shesterkin between the pipes here for the New York Rangers. He's got a 962 save percentage. He's been brilliant between the pipes. When we look at the Wild's team total, it is coming in at 2.5. So you're looking at a team total of 2.5. It's minus 108 to the under. Normally, when you're looking at an under 2.5 for a team like the Minnesota Wild, who we know have the ability to score with those stars on there, you're probably going to get closer to like plus 110, plus 120 on a lot of these books. But because of Igor Shesterkin, it's minus 108. I do think they stay under the 2.5 goals. Now, could they win this 2-1? Yeah. If Gustafsson plays up to his expectations, we could see a 2-1 win for the Minnesota Wild, but I'm not willing to take the Wild here to pull off the upset in Madison Square Garden. I'm also not willing to take them to be able to score 3 goals. But on that note, I can't take this one to the under 5.5 because what the Rangers' ability is to score in Gustafsson playing up to his expectations right now. And that's why I'll isolate the Wild's team total under the 2.5 and I'll pay the minus 108. I do think this first period starts off slow. No matter who scores in this first period, I think we stay under 1.5 goals in the first period. Gustafsson has to, and I'm talking about has to play better between the pipes. So under 1.5 goals in the first period is minus 108 as well. Now the Rangers are yet to get a home win. They're sitting 3-1 on the season, 0-3 at home. I'm expecting this to be their first win at home of the season. Now they have a fantastic kill, which also makes that power play there so strong of the Wild, just that little bit weaker. It's converting at 38.5% again, so the Rangers need to stay out of the box. But if they don't, if they do take some penalties, it's going to be a lot harder against the kill unit here for the New York Rangers. Now, the Wild have lost the last 7 versus Metro, so that is your trend. I do think the Rangers get the win here. The problem with the Rangers straight up on the money line is I don't like the juice. So if you see the Wild, for some magical reason, go up 1-0 in that first period, come back in on the Rangers for a live betting opportunity for them to get their first win here at home. But the Wild's team total under 2.5 is the way I'm going to go. So it's going to be a good one because I don't love this one to be a higher scoring one. The Rangers could win this 4-2. It's not out of the question, but I don't want to play around with a lot of props. We do have goalie props out right now. Igor Shesterkin over 23.5 save shots on goal at -112. Fantastic bet. Now, Gustafsson coming in here, his number is 25.5 at -130. Gustafsson will need to stand on his head to be able to go over the 25.5. Will we see enough out of him in this matchup? I'm just not sure if we're going to see enough out of him. You also look at the Rangers. If they go up on that power play, Gustafsson's going to have one heck of a time because the kill in front of him is weak. They're allowing opponents to convert. They're only killing off 70.6% of the time. So almost 30% of the time, we are seeing their opponent convert on that power play. So I wouldn't be touching it. If you really want to take someone here for the New York Rangers, I would look at Brandon Snyder here. He scored a goal in each of the Rangers' last 2 games against the Minnesota Wild. It's a long shot. It's coming in at +900. You could also look here at a couple of the players. We know Panarin, JT Miller, Zibanejad, Adam Fox are such strong playmakers out there on the ice. Adam Fox has every ability to get 2 points in this game, and that's where I would go with Adam Fox if you like him. He's -150 for the anytime point. He's an offensive defenseman out here, and I do think he's going to be able to break away in this game and be firing from the blue line. He's +330 for the 2+ points. So if you really want to go big or go home in this one kind of thing. Let's move on to the next game. Then I'll have a quick look at your comments after we just go over this next game and the odds here. So let me pull this up. We got the Seattle Kraken taking on the Philadelphia Flyers. Now the Flyers are a -140 favorite. They got Dan the man starting, Dan Vladar, who was once with the Calgary Flames last season. Do miss him up here in Calgary, and I'm sure Calgary, we're kind of kicking ourselves a little because Dustin Wolf not looking like the goaltender that he was last season. So getting ahead of myself there. We'll move on to the Calgary Flames. They're in such a crazy matchup tonight, but the Philadelphia Flyers with Dan Vladar are the favorite, and we got the Seattle Kraken at +116. Now, the Kraken, talk about a team that has taken every opportunity to pick up points. If they haven't won the game, they pushed it to overtime and picked up the one. So 5 games, we got 5 points already, 5-point streak for the Seattle Kraken. We got a total of 5.5 in this one, -115 to the over, -105 to the under. Now it's supposed to be Joey Daccord in for Seattle. Seattle's also 5-0 on the puck line because, of course, if they've won 3 and they've gone 2 to OT. So they have been fantastic. 5-0 against the spread. 3-0-2 in their last 10. So great performance out of them. We're looking at the Flyers coming in here off an overtime game. Now the Flyers off of overtime have struggled after that. So both in the last 6 games off of overtime, they've lost, and they've gone 0-9 on the puck line as a favorite following overtime. So this is a kind of game where if you like the Flyers, I think you get in and you get out. You get them in the first period, and then you get out of this game because you also look at them versus the Kraken. They've won their last 4 first periods. That is a strong trend. And then off of overtime, if you get them going up first, you're going to be able to come back in on the Seattle Kraken to keep this tight. Like I said, every single game has been a 1-goal game with the Seattle Kraken unless they've been able to get the win. They've kept these games tight out there. So the Seattle Kraken right now are +1.5 at -215. You guys know we can't lay that kind of juice. They're a +116 underdog. If the Flyers come out and score first in that first period, we're going to see them move to almost a $2 favorite. And then we're going to see that +1.5 closer to the I would guess -110, hopefully not -120 mark. But I think even at that, at -120, +1.5 on the Kraken is where I would bite, because I do think you look at the Flyers and you look at those overtime numbers, and overtime coming off of overtime, it hasn't been a strong suit. So Would I sprinkle on the Kraken on the money line? You got to have a lot of faith in them, especially against Dan Vladar. But we could see the Kraken coming back and getting the win as the Flyers sputter out. Now, one thing to look at for the Flyers, and a player that I really have circled to step up and have that big game here, Trevor Zegras. We haven't seen Trevor Zegras score the goal yet for being on the Flyers for this team. He has had those assists out there. So he's had an assist in the last 4. I would look at Trevor Zegras to be able to be impactful and get that goal tonight. On the other side, Shane Wright has scored in the last 2 games that first goal. So Shane Wright coming in at plus 220 for the Kraken to score a goal tonight, I do think is another solid way. Both of these teams have been seeing these games go over. 3 of the last 5 between the two of them have gone over that total. But I do think this is a game where you look at the Flyers to get off to that hot start, then the Kraken plus the 1.5 on that puck line when the juice drops, and then this one to go over at the end of the day. So the over 5.5 at minus 115, it does feel like a 4-3 style game as things open up. And I know Joey Decord and Dan Vladar have every ability of stealing it, but I think the offenses really get up in this game. So Trevor Zegras, Shane Wright will be who I'm going to look at for those points. JT Miller, you're going to look at JT Miller, the New York Rangers, for 2+ points. I don't hate it. I do think JT Miller has every ability. I'm going to go with Adam Fox, but I do like where you're going with JT Miller. Panarin to continue to wake up and score again. That would be a great way to go. They put Detroit at a home dog. I know, I still can't believe Detroit was a home dog in that game versus the Edmonton Oilers. I know Edmonton. We all look at Edmonton and we go, how is Edmonton such a short favorite when they make the Stanley Cup Finals? Remember, when you're betting against Edmonton, you want to do it in situations like at the start of the season where they start off slow, and then you want to look at them against bad teams too as we move on during the season, because Edmonton will get up for big games, and they're one of those teams, if they get sandwiched between 2 Pacific opponents, or if they get sandwiched between a road and a home where then they're playing a weaker opponent between those, that's where you got to look to target them. So it's going to be an interesting one to see Edmonton in their next game, where those lines are falling. Off the top of my head, I can't remember where they're sitting, but Edmonton, always look for those scheduling spots. They let you down at the weirdest time. Remember, the Sharks have rolled in to Edmonton and got the win. The Sharks haven't won, 15 straight freaking games. The next time I tell you guys to bet the Sharks, maybe ask me if I'm taking crazy pills here in the live chat, because this Shark team keeps costing me freaking money. It's like the New York Jets. Let me know who has been hurting you lately. New York Jets going to get it done yesterday? What the heck was that? Justin Fields ended up getting benched as well. But I digress, you guys. Let's move back on to some things going on in the hockey world. The next game is the Buffalo Sabres taking on the Montreal Canadiens. We got a total of 6.5. Young, fiery talent on both sides of the puck here. This is going to be the game that I want to watch. This is a game I think we're going to cash in on our player props. This is a game I want to put those player point parlays together. This is the one where we should see the firing of that freaking puck tonight. Nice into the back of the net. Go top corner, boys. Let's get things done. We got a total of 6.5. I think this one is a 4-3 style of game. I'll take the over 6.5 at plus 106. We do have the Montreal Canadiens coming in at minus 154, plus 128 for the Buffalo Sabres, and laying the 1.5 for the Montreal Canadiens coming in at plus 152. Like I said, I think this is like a 4-3 style game, but could I see this being a 5-3 because of an empty netter? Absolutely. So if you want to look at Montreal to win this in a 5-3 style game, do the puck line, laying 1.5 at plus 152. You guys know when I look at Montreal, I look at first period, and I love the Montreal Canadiens first period puck line to get up, laying that half a goal. You're going to get laying a half a goal in the first period at plus 152. That's where I'm going to go. You got Sam Montague not in goal tonight. We got Josh Dobbs on Alex Leon on the other side. Alex Leon, he is coming off a fantastic game versus the Florida Panthers. He was able to record his first shutout in Sabres gear versus Florida on the weekend. We took the Buffalo Sabres the other day. We held our breath. It was a scary one. This team's won their last 2 games. But you look at Alex Leon versus the Montreal Canadiens, and he's got an 879 save percentage, a 3.15 goals against average. So I don't think that Alex Leon's going to be able to keep the puck out of his net the way he did versus Florida. And remember, Florida's not 100%. Got a young, hungry Montreal team here at home, battle the Atlantic Division. Josh Dobbs between the pipes for the Montreal Canadiens, and that's why it gives me a little bit of concern for Montreal full game puck line, because it's not Sam Montague, it's Josh Dobbs. So Buffalo should be able to get theirs as well. But ultimately, Montreal goes up first period. Could it be a 2-1 first period? Hell yeah, it could. But I think Montreal covers the half a goal puck line in the first. If you just want to take a money line, you're going to have to lay the juice, and that is okay. If that is where you want to go, you might push that bet or cash that bet, where I might lose mine because of that push. And then, of course, if you're taking the puck line, you don't get the push. Montreal in their last game is coming off a loss, so versus the New York Rangers. They had a nice 2-goal lead and they lost it. They let things go. They're going to be looking to get back here on track. So the first period puck line laying a half a goal, but give me the over 3.5 goals. The over 3.5 goals for the Montreal Canadiens coming in at plus 106. You will get plus money there. I think it is fantastic to look for that plus money always. I will be shocked if they're not able to score 4 goals in this one. I expect them to come out, get 4 or 5 goals. They're averaging 3.5 goals per game. Now, when you look at Buffalo, they're averaging 2.6 goals per game. Their power play, though, has been converting at a great rate, 6th best in the league, 27.8%. So Montreal has to stay out of that freaking box. Paul Caulfield last season was able to get his shorties, though, on the kill. We also see Cole Caulfield coming out. He's being able to get those wins in OT. So if this one goes to overtime, I think it's that tight of a game, you guys. I think back and forth battle, we could see Cole Caulfield at that point score that goal. So I would definitely be looking at it. Montreal has been able to go over a total of 6.5 in 3 times so far this season, while Buffalo has only gone over the 6.5 once. So something to note. So if you're looking at team totals, that's why I like the Montreal Canadiens team total of 6.5 better than this full game over, of 3.5 better than the full game over 6.5, even though I think it is a 4-3 style game. If it's a 4-2, then you will lose out on that 6.5, but you'll still be able to cash Montreal's team total over 3.5. So I'll stay off the full game total, look at Montreal's team total, look at Montreal puck line first period, and then let's talk those goal scorers, those point scorers. Cole Caulfield, Nick Suzuki. You know, blindly, just take them each and every single game. These two on those lines together, on those power plays, are lighting things up. They both have 8 points. Cole Caulfield has the top goals with 5 for the Habs here. He enters on a 5-game point streak. And I think Nick Suzuki's on a 5-game point streak as well. Don't quote me on that. Now, Rasmus Dahlin has been very strong playing the Canadiens for the Buffalo Sabres. His goal tonight, I was shocked. You're getting it at plus 450. He's had a goal in 3 of the last 4 versus the Montreal Canadiens. So Rasmus Dahlin, the player you want to look at here for the Buffalo Sabres. Benson has been great as well. Benson coming in with 5 points into this game. And Josh Doron coming in as well with those 5 points. Jason Zucker is leading the team for the Buffalo Sabres with goals. He has 3 goals thus far this season. I do think Montreal is where you want to put those props. We're going to build some little player points at the end. We're going to build all of it, Mo, for sure. Cole Caulfield for the anytime goal. Absolutely. Yeah, Matt, they are the Cincinnati Bengals. A wise person did once say that before. It's just how they come out to start the season. No sense of urgency for this team as they try to acclimate to each other out there on the ice. Try to give Stuart Skinner more defense as well. We know as the season goes on, the offense picks up more. The defense breaks down a little bit. Everyone's blaming Skinner for every single goal that goes between the pipes. But again, if he had that defense that we see at the start of the season for the Edmonton Oilers, then it would be another story, I really do think, for this team. So it's going to be interesting to see how they play and where those lines go as we start to move on with the season. But I think Edmonton's going to make a huge push at some point. They're going to make that huge run where we see them win 13, 14, 15 games. Hopefully it doesn't come against the All-Star break like it did was that last season or the season before? They went into the All-Star break on this huge win streak, and then they came out of it and just suffered. That's the storyline of Edmonton. They need those consecutive games under their belt. The rest turns to rust for them. Okay, you guys, this one is a hard pill to swallow. The Winnipeg Jets versus the Calgary Flames. Take Winnipeg. Take Winnipeg today. Take Winnipeg tomorrow. Take Winnipeg yesterday. Anything you can get for the Winnipeg Jets here versus the Calgary Flames. I just think this is such a lopsided game. And I absolutely feel for my Calgary Flames, but I don't think they have a freaking chance here tonight. And it hurts. Now, is Mama in the building? Is Mama Madden going to the game? Well, that's a question. I texted her and she did not answer me back. We all know when she goes to the games, the Calgary Flames seem to step up. Nazem Kadri, if anyone's going to step up, needs to net that goal tonight. He's yet to get a goal for the Calgary Flames. So if Nazem Kadri can step up, please, I would love to see that. We're going to get great plus money on him. He only has a couple of assists so far. He is who drives this offense. So Nazem Kadri here for the Calgary Flames. Mark Scheifele breaking those records of Blake Wheeler over the weekend. We were able to cash in on him for that anytime goal. Winnipeg rolled over this weekend, and I think they roll over the Calgary Flames here today. Winnipeg on that puck line, -1.5 at +164. Don't even think twice. I can't see this going any other way, but Winnipeg winning this in a 4-1 style game. So if you want to do alt puck line, go for it. Do the alt puck line. Maybe they win at 5-1 even. 5-2. Okay, I could see it. Calgary might be able to get 2 goals, but I highly doubt it. This offense has been so inconsistent. Dustin Wolf coming back down to reality after a fantastic season last year. And like I said, kind of kicking ourselves here that we don't have Dan Vladar anymore. Backing him up because he was a solid backup here in Calgary. This total sitting at 5.5. If you want to isolate a total, I would just isolate the Winnipeg Jets team total, take that to the over. I won't trust Calgary to get us any of these goals. Now, could Calgary all of a sudden find their feet under them tonight and get the win? Doubtful, right? You've got Dustin Wolf versus Connor Hellebuck. Connor Hellebuck has a .915 save percentage on the season and 2.52 goals against average. And Scheifele and Kyle Connor just being elite. The Jets' power play conversion rate is 33.33%, third best in the league. They've also scored 2 shorties. No other team has scored 2 shorties this year. The strong defensively as well. That killing off 95.5% of their opponent's power plays. I just don't see the inconsistencies here of Calgary being able to turn things around. Only 10 goals. Calgary got up for the first game versus Edmonton. They got the win. It's like, what was that Scooby-Doo show where they pull off the mask and it's like, oh, that's who you really are. It's kind of like what happened here with Calgary. They got the win over Edmonton. We expected them to roll strong in a couple of their other games, just not able to do it. 1.71 goals per game on average. 1.71. Worst in the league. Worse than the Sharks, right? Like, we look at the Sharks keep losing us money. You know, I put them against the New York Jets right now, and the New York Jets might beat them out there on the ice, right? The Calgary Flames just not standing up. They're giving up 4.2 goals per game as well. I hate to say it about my team, but we're always the most critical of our teams. Give me the Winnipeg Jets to cover the puck line, laying a goal and a half, +168, 3-1, 4-1 style game. Calgary first period bet. You ready for this? 0 goals for the Calgary Flames in the first period on Connor Hellebuck, +114. Sign me up. I don't see them being able to get here. This is one of the best defensive teams in the league, and against weaker opponents, they've only scored 1.7 goals on average. Now, the Winnipeg Jets have won their last 7 first periods. So if you want to look at the Winnipeg Jets, laying a half a goal in the first period, think it's another solid way to go in this game. We know Calgary had that comeback versus the Edmonton Oilers to win it. Calgary is always a team that you never feel is like going to be completely out of it with their ability to make those comebacks. We saw it last season, but it's not looking good for this matchup. So when we look at a couple of those trends, I would look at Kadri for his first goal of the season, though. We're getting great plus money with Nazem Kadri. 4 points thus far on the season, all coming via the assist. Kadri can score at home. He's proven it over the years. Now, Morgan Frost has been able to record assists in the last 4 games versus the Jets. Remember, Morgan Frost was part of the trade from the Philadelphia Flyers. I would look at Morgan Frost for the assist tonight at +240, but I wouldn't go big on anything here for Calgary. It's all about Kyle Connor and Mark Scheifele for the Winnipeg Jets. Look for them to come out nice and strong. I wouldn't look at Connor Hellebuck for his safe shots either. The problem with looking at Connor Hellebuck for his safe shots is the defense in front of him isn't going to allow a Calgary team that's just not getting anything in to be able to get those shots either. So cash this 3 times already. Scheifele, anytime goal. Kyle Connor for the assist. Hell yeah. Yeah, I don't know when mom is going to be at the game. She's just not texting me. She's not letting me know before I do this show. I've just got to assume that she's going to try to be there. And then Kadri will at least give us a goal. Come on, Kadri. Under the total Flames and Jets. Yeah, I do think it stays under. Kev, my only concern is what Winnipeg is going to do to Dustin Wolf between the pipes. If they decide to go off and make a statement in this one, the total is dead because they could get 5 goals alone. Yeah, Frost has such good value there for his assists. I'm looking for Morgan Frost to really start stepping up for this team. So we'll see if he is able to. Yeah, the new stadium definitely needs to come. The Death Dome. That is actually a really solid name for it instead of the Saddle Dome right now because it does. It needs to come quickly. You know what? I think we still fill out in Calgary. It's interesting to see Calgary fans. They'll come and they'll leave. They come, they enjoy a couple beers, and then they head on out. The downtown life is just too much fun to miss those games, but I don't think it's one. And you know what's interesting? Winnipeg and Toronto, they fill up the stands. So there's going to be a lot of support. It's probably going to feel like one of their games. Okay, the Carolina Hurricanes versus the Vegas Golden Knights. Okay, this is going to be another fun one. Frederik Andersen versus Aiden Hill are your goaltenders. So Carolina, perfect on the season. They have yet to lose a game. They're minus 104 here on the money line. The Vegas Golden Knights minus 115. Vegas has been freaking dominating, especially goal-wise. They're coming off that big win Saturday, 6-1 versus the Calgary Flames. Total sitting at 6.5 plus 104. Are we going to see goaltenders and defense in this, or are we going to see both of these teams lighting the lamp? I wouldn't take this one under because I do think this one goes to OT. I think we have a 3-3 style game into overtime, pushing us over the 6.5. Over 6.5 plus 104, overtime plus 320. I think it's that tight of a battle. Vegas has won their last 3 games, dominated again Calgary on the weekend 6-1, and they have scored 6 goals in each of their last 2 games. The Carolina Hurricanes are averaging 4.6 goals per game. Frederik Andersen and Aiden Hill, solid goaltenders, but I do think offensively, because of that OT, I can't take it to the under. The overtime bet plus 320. That's my favorite bet of this game. Just give me overtime. When we look at the playmakers, you know Jack Eichel. He is leading the NHL in points with 15 points already. Mark Stone right behind him with 13. Great to see these guys to start the season with Vegas here because we know Mark Stone has had injuries in the past and he's come back later. Barbashev has recorded an assist in each of the Knights' last 3 games. His assist coming in at plus 260 to stay hot. Now, when we look here at Carolina, Seth Jarvis has already got 6 goals in 5 games. So he's on a point per game streak out here. Jordan Stahl has notched his 300th goal of his career versus the Kings, and I'm looking for him to continue to roll hot. So this one is all about those playmakers coming out, getting those goals, getting things done. So you're going to go with that line combo plus 800. Okay, it's at plus 800 for a point, or where are you going to go with those guys out there? Let us know, Hulk. Can't wait to hear what that one is. So let's do the recap, you guys. We're trying to move this show faster. We've still talked for 35, 36 minutes. It's okay. I love talking to you guys. We'll do the recap. Then we'll build some player line combo parlays, especially between Vegas and Carolina. And then Winnipeg, we're building those combos for Winnipeg, and then Montreal and Buffalo. The other 2 games, I don't want to take very much in for player props, but it is recap time. We're sitting here 34 minutes recap time. The Minnesota Wild versus the New York Rangers. Wild's team total under 2.5 at -108. I don't see them scoring tonight on Igor Shesterkin. I take the first period under 1.5 goals at -108, as I do expect Gustafsson to come out a little bit better than he has looked. Remember, the Rangers have a fantastic kill out here, which should offset the Wild if they do get on that power play. The Seattle Kraken versus the Philadelphia Flyers. The Flyers are coming off an overtime game, which is a really weak suit of them. Look for them to come out strong in the first period. I'm going to take the Flyers in the first period on the money line at -130 for half a unit. Puck line -0.5 goal for the other half a unit at +160. At that point, if the Kraken +1.5 makes sense, because this team is playing on a 5-game point streak. They have won 3, pushed 2 to OT. This team has every ability to be able to cover that puck line. So only when it's like a -120 mark right now, it's too juicy. But to start this one off, it is the Flyers to come out strong, because off of overtime, they sputter out in these games. If you're looking at the Kraken with that great plus money at that point, I wouldn't be shy to take a chance. Trevor Zegras for the goal for the Flyers, I think, is a great way to look. He has 4 assists on the season, yet to net 1. And then Shane Wright on the other side for the Kraken is hot right now, +220 for the goal. Buffalo versus Montreal. The Canadiens, I think, are going to get things right after losing that last game to the Rangers. Give me the Montreal Canadiens on the puck line in the first period, laying a half a goal at +152. Give me the Montreal Canadiens team total over 3.5 at +106. I know Alex Leon in between the pipes here for Buffalo is coming off a shutout win versus the Florida Panthers, but you look at his numbers versus Montreal, 879 save percentage, 3.15 goals against average. And Montreal should be able to win this battle here of the Atlantic, averaging 3.5 goals per game. I think they have a great one here. Rasmus Dahlin and Zach Benson, Jason Zucker is where I'd look for the Buffalo Sabres. Cole Caulfield, Nick Suzuki, auto parlay there for the Montreal Canadiens. Again, we'll get into some more player combos after this. The Winnipeg Jets and the Calgary Flames. The Winnipeg Jets on the puck line, laying 1.5 at plus money all day long. Calgary first period under 1 goal. So 0 goals for the Calgary Flames in the first period at +114. I think Winnipeg wins this 3-1, 4-1, 5-1. Winnipeg all day long. They've won their last 4 first periods as well. So if you want to look at the Winnipeg Jets puck line in the first, I expect them to get a goal. Calgary to get absolutely 0. Could Winnipeg get 2 goals in the first period? Yeah, the way the Calgary Flames are playing right now, things just haven't looked pretty. Now, if Calgary is coming out and getting anything done, Morgan Frost has been able to get those assists. So his assists at +240 for Calgary, and Nazem Kadri has to start scoring for the Calgary Flames, yet to score a goal on the season. I would take a shot on him. On the other side, it is Mark Scheifele, Kyle Connor all day long. We're going to build those parlays in a second. And then the Carolina Hurricanes and the Vegas Golden Knights. Give me OT, overtime bet, +320. I do think it goes over 6.5 because of the overtime 3-3 style of game. These offenses are on fire right now. It's will the Carolina Hurricanes get their first loss of the season here to Vegas? That's the biggest question. And if you think yes, you got a pretty nice price here on the Vegas Golden Knights. So look at Carolina for Seth Jarvis, Jordan Stalls to really step up nice and strong. We're going to look at Barbashev, Jack Eichel, Mark Stone for Vegas. Let's build those player prop parlays. And yeah, if you guys can hit that like button, that subscribe button, I would so appreciate it. And share it with your friends, you guys. We're going from having this show, having over 150 live viewers every single show last season. And we have dropped down this season, but we're going to get it back here on track. I know a lot is going on. We kind of changed the time of this show as well. A shout out for your boy Dak. He's been on a heater acting like he found some magic sauce, but we figured out he was just using your plays. Okay. Dak shots. What the heck's happening out there? I'm glad you've been on a he's been on a heater though. If he's using my plays, we're on a heater. It's all good. So let's move on. Let's build these player prop combos, you guys. I'm gonna pull up the lines for the Buffalo Sabres. This is the one that I'm really interested in. The Buffalo Sabres and the Montreal Canadiens. I'll pull up both of the line combos here to show you guys on the screen. Hopefully we don't get ads running because that's always the worst. The Montreal Canadiens lines. And we're going to go over some of these combos for you guys. Montreal Canadiens. It helps if I type lines. Okay, here we go. Okay, you guys ready? We're going to share this. We're going to go over this. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll start with the Montreal Canadiens and where they're going. So where we're going to go with those line combos. Here we go. We got it on screen. We got this going here now, you guys. That top line, it is Cole Caulfield and Nick Suzuki. This is the line that you want to bet those two guys parlayed. So when I go over, and there comes our ad. As soon as I go off that page, our ad comes. So when we go over to, and this is, I'm building these on FanDuel. If you're just looking at the player points on that top line, Cole Caulfield, not first period. Don't do first period by mistake, you guys. It looks so enticing with those lines out there, unless you think they're going to come out in that first period. But just go to the points and the assist tab. Cole Caulfield and Nick Suzuki. They're starting to really drop our value on this one. So what we're getting for Cole Caulfield and Nick Suzuki once was a positive. It's now plus 140 or minus 142. So this combined minus 142. Looking at their ability on that power play, you guys, they are on that top power play with Lane Hutson. Lane Hutson is on that second defensive pairing, so we don't see him on the ice as much with the two of them. But I do think if you look here at combining Lane Hutson for the point, it will take Nick Suzuki, Cole Caulfield, and Lane Hutson from just the two at minus 142, adding in Lane Hutson at plus 147. I think Lane Hutson has been so strong out there, it's worth putting him into that parlay. So my first player combo parlay will be Nick Suzuki, Cole Caulfield, and Lane Hutson, all for a point today for the Montreal Canadiens at plus 147. If you're looking at the Buffalo Sabres, we're going to go off of this one, and then actually here, I'll just show you guys. So now you're going to go here and you're going to go to Buffalo. We'll just do it that way. When we look at Buffalo, here are our lines for Buffalo. You got Tage Thompson, right wing of the first line. Alex Tuch, right wing of the second line. This is great. Jason Zucker, we talked about him, third line, left wing. I'm going to look here at the power play unit out here. You've got Tage Thompson on that power play unit. Looking at Tage Thompson, you guys, where, yeah, on that top line, top power play unit. I think this is going to be really strong with Rasmus Dahlin. So when we build that player point combo over here for those guys, we're going to go with Tage Thompson and Rasmus Dahlin. This is where you're going to get value. Tage Thompson, Rasmus Dahlin for the player point combo for the Buffalo Sabres comes in at plus 112. I like the plus 112 for these guys to come out nice and strong. So I will go with both of them as well. I've got Sterling Shepard for an anytime touchdown if anyone cares what I'm doing on Monday Night Football, as well as Sam Laporta. So that's some added bonuses there for you guys hanging around. But Nick Suzuki, Cole Caulfield, and Lane Hutson was the Montreal play. Let's move on to the Vegas Golden Knights taking on the Carolina Hurricanes, because like I said, I do think Carolina, the Hurricanes, should be able to get some things done tonight. We've got, look at this top line, you guys. Seth Jarvis, Sebastian Ahos, and Nicola Ehlers coming in here. Strong top line here. Taylor Hall, you got to love how they got Taylor Hall over here. Stankoven as well, and Jackson Blake. This is a solid, this is why this team is averaging almost 5 goals per game. The top line is fire. The second line is fire. Jordan Staal's on this. They have the depth on all 4 of these lines. Andrei Sheznikov down here, Eric Robinson. The depth is all throughout these lineups for the Carolina Hurricanes. We're going to see what happens with Gobert here, about Seth Walker, Miller on that top defensive. Let's look at the top power play unit. This power play can convert, and I do think we're going to see power play goals. I think this one gets scrappy. So Sebastian Aho, Seth Jarvis, I do like their ability on the power play to come out nice and strong. I'm also going to look here at the second power play unit. Taylor Hall, Sheznikov, solid. Stankoven, solid players up and down these units. So when we go to build that player point parlay, let's look at the power play units. We're going to build some of these guys, not within the power play on those lines as well, but just going back and forth to my tabs here. Player point props, you guys. I do like Seth Jar. Okay, that's period props. Again, points and assists, you guys, when you're looking at those player points. I do think Seth Jarvis and Sebastian Aho have every ability of getting a point each tonight. Seth Jarvis and Sebastian Aho, though, when we take just the two of them for a point, again, that is a minus 130. So looking at Seth Jarvis, Sebastian Aho on that top power play unit, both on this top forward unit with Ehlers as well on this top power play unit. This is where you want to go. You want to add Ehlers into this parlay. Ehlers alone is minus 128. If you just want to combine Ehlers and Jarvis, I like it. Ehlers and Aho, I like it. But I think all three have the ability to get that point. Seth Jarvis, Sebastian Aho, and Ehlers all for a point plus 155. Again, those three guys right here are on your top power play unit as well as your top line. So I do think it is a solid way to go. Top line here, top power play unit, all three of them. Let's turn over to the Vegas Golden Knights lineup, and then we'll call it a day, you guys. Almost an hour here, 46 minutes. We're pretty good. Barbashev, Jack Eichel on that top line. Solid top line there with the two of them. Dora Feeneth on the the left wing of the second line with Thomas Hertl, Mitch Marner. Mitch Marner really getting things done here for the Vegas Golden Knights. We have William Karlsson, Riley Smith. This is another reason why this team had 6 goals in their last 2. We got strength from the blue line as well with those defensive players. I would look at Mitch Marner and Jack Eichel and Dora Feeneth in this one. For their points, we're going to build that. Mitch Marner, Dora Feeneth, and Mitch Marner, Jack Eichel, and Dora Feeneth. Okay, so Dora Feeneth is coming in at minus 125. Mitch Marner, Jack Eichel, and Dora Feeneth, each for a point, coming in at plus 149. And I think it is a great way to go. So, you guys, it should be a great day for those line combos out. Mark Stone is hurt, so you got to look for those playmakers to get out. Who's getting 2 points tonight? Mark Scheifele, Kyle Connor, 2+ points for them as well. I think they're going to come out so strong. Cole Caulfield, I could see him getting those 2 points. I like where you're going with that anytime goal. Same game parlay. You've got Jack Eichel of Vegas, Cole Caulfield of Montreal, Mark Scheifele of the Winnipeg Jets, Irish King. That looks like straight freaking money in the bank, you guys. I love that anytime goal parlay. If you're doing an anytime goal parlay, make sure you put all 3 of them for the anytime point parlay in as well, so you don't miss out in case one gets an assist. You got Rasmus Dahlin and Benson assists at plus 400-ish. Ooh, that is a nice one. Had to step away for a bit. Did we go over those players? We just went over those players, so we'll go over that big long shot. We'll go over those names as well. So let's quickly get my FanDuel back open here and get that tab. Okay, so I got 8 legs in here. 8 legs comes in and pays plus 1246. We got to add in Winnipeg. Winnipeg is going off today. So the Winnipeg Jets, we're going to quickly look at them. Points and assists. Kyle Connor and Mark Scheifele, 2+ points for those guys. Kyle Connor, 2+ points, plus 162. Mark Scheifele, 2+ at plus 250. And look for him to continue to roll hot. Nazem Kadri, if he is able to get that goal tonight for the Calgary Flames, he's plus 195. I want more value, guys. There's just not enough value on a guy who's yet to score a goal this season. That is kind of BS out there, but I guess he has every ability in this one. Morgan Frost for that assist tonight. And remember, Jonathan Huberdeau back in the lineup. Hubie for the assist at plus 144, but Morgan Frost plus 260 for that assist. So I do think there's a way to go there. Okay. But if you look at Kyle Connor, Mark Scheifele, and Josh Morrissey for the points for the Winnipeg Jets, those three guys are plus 144. So let's go over that one more time. The same game parlays, and then we're going to put all of these legs together. For the Carolina Hurricanes and the Vegas Golden Knights, I'm going to look at Mitch Marner, Jack Eichel for Vegas. And then, hang on, I just cleared off Seth Jarvis. I just got to get those back in. Seth Jarvis and Ehlers and Sebastian. Actually, let's leave Sebastian Aho out. We're going to leave Sebastian Aho out. But we're going to look at those four players there. If you just parlay the four, Mitch Marner, Jack Eichel, Seth Jarvis, and Ehlers, it's plus 261. I do like Mitch Marner, Jack Eichel, and then Seth Jarvis and Ehlers. When we look at Buffalo versus Montreal, Tage Thompson, Rasmus Dahlin, Nick Suzuki, Cole Caulfield, Lane Hudson. Again, Lane Hudson, Cole Caulfield, and Nick Suzuki, all Montreal. Rasmus Dahlin, Tage Thompson, Buffalo. So parlaying the five of those guys together, coming in almost 450. It's plus 438. The Winnipeg Jets, we're going to look at Kyle Connor, Mark Scheifele, Josh Morrissey at plus 144. So your 12 leg, actually, let's drop this down. We are going to take out a couple here for their points. We're going to roll with an 8-leg same game parlay, $10 to win 119. Mitch Marner for a point of Vegas. Jack Eichel for a point of Vegas. Ehlers for a point for Carolina. Or no, sorry, Ehlers for Carolina. Tage Thompson for the Buffalo Sabres. Nick Suzuki and Cole Caulfield for Montreal. Kyle Connor, Mark Scheifele for the Winnipeg Jets. 8 legs plus 1197. 2+ points tonight. Give me Mark Scheifele. Give me Kyle Connor. Give me Cole Caulfield. Those would be the guys that I want for 2+ points in these matchups tonight. It's going to be a hot night out there on the ice. Just going to get to all of your comments here. Yeah, Nick Suzuki. I could see Nick Suzuki getting 2+ points. Nazem Kadri, I'd take him for the goal. I would be scared at Nazem with 2+ points, but he needs to freaking show up here in Calgary. Panarin for the anytime goal for the Rangers. Sam Laporta for the touchdown. I have Sam Laporta as well. So Sterling Shepard, Sam Laporta. I think those tutties are coming out of those guys. Shane Wright for the anytime goal and Kenneth Walker for the tutty. I like where you're going, Blake. I like your style out there. Suzuki, Choketny, Eichel, all 1 point, and the Jets in regulation. Whew, it's a nice one. Plus 486. Nice way to go. With that bet, I don't have anything that's worrying me in that one for you. I do like Travis Konecny to be able to get a point as well. So solid one there. The Sabres versus the Canadiens, both teams scored 2 goals. Yeah, both teams. The Sabres, they're gonna be able to score 2 goals. Tage Thompson will come out. Rasmus Dahlin, they should be able to get 2 goals. It is backup goaltending there for the Montreal Canadiens. So. Yeah, I use the lines over here. FanDuel is in Ontario. I do have someone who is able to put in bets for me out of Ontario for these lines. I've got other books that I use here in Canada, in Alberta, but the problem is with those lines, you're not going to be able to find them on the regular FanDuel, DraftKings, and Bet365. They're just not going to give you the kind of lines that I'm going to be getting with these books in Alberta. So I just give you these FanDuel lines because they have the most ability for all of those props and everything that you guys are going to be able to find across the board in North America. We could look at DraftKings lines. We could look at a lot of other books, but I find that the FanDuel lines are pretty much on par, pretty even. We're going to float around with that juice, and that's why you go on over to Odd Shoppers and really shop those lines, Odds Logic as well, for the best bets out there for the best lines. But I find FanDuel just gives me the nicest lines of any book out there. So if I look at an Alberta book, Caudry's not going to be plus 200 for a goal. He's going to be like plus 120. So I don't want to give you lines like that. They're pretty old and stale as well. For a lot of these books, they don't adjust a lot. So you guys, that is it for Puck It with Jo. I appreciate you. Yeah, Alberta's going to be legalizing right away. Legalization of the books is happening next year, I believe, in Alberta, which is so funny because our government has Play Alberta where you can bet, but it's not legal. So I don't know. I don't know what is going on up here in Canada. Things kind of get crazy, but I am hearing that Alberta is going to legalize up here pretty quickly if we don't become the next state of America. Is that a big thing? You guys, let me know if you hear that a lot, that Alberta is joining America, because we have people protesting up here. I don't know what's going on. We got ads running. Don't let our healthcare go because we joined America. I don't know. I don't know what's happening. If we join America, you guys know I'm in like a dirty shirt. That is for sure. I'll be moving down further south, though, where there's no snow falling. That being said, there's no snow falling here. I can see the beautiful Rockies out my window. It is time to let you guys go. We've had a long show. Below this show, drop what you are liking. Hit that like, hit that retweet, hit that notification button. We will be back tomorrow loaded, an absolutely loaded slate in the NHL tomorrow, you guys. All the best in all of your bets. Until tomorrow, stay hot and let's make some freaking money.